Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Live, Laugh, Lies. It's your host, Susie Evans. And today we have Leslie Fhima from The Golden Bachelor, the very first season of The Golden Bachelor. She made it almost all the way to the end, and she had quite the journey. We got to dive into her experience, her perspective on a lot of things. She is spilling the tea, but also a very respectful woman.
We're not going to say. That's for me to know.
Who obviously has created great friendships through the Bachelor franchise. I consider her a friend of my own now, but I also look at her and just think she is like Superwoman. She's like a 10-time marathon finisher. She does these really cool fitness retreats. She's constantly dancing on social media, like dancing through life. She is just literally Superwoman and such an inspiration. So without further ado, let's hop right in and hear from Leslie.
Everyone just wants to live, laugh, love. But in this disappointing world, there are many who are faced with lies.
I didn't really want to share on the show why. It's such a sad experience that I went through. He lied to me. He said he was coming back and he didn't. I was angry with him. I am not good with people that lie. I don't want to be lied to anymore.
This is Live, Laugh, Lies.
Okay, Leslie, welcome to Live, Laugh, Lies.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so happy that you're here. You have the most beautiful energy. I mean, you were a fan favorite for a good reason, but we all just loved watching you. And I still love seeing you pop up on social media, doing your dancing and living your best life. You seem to be thriving.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So for anyone listening that doesn't know, you were on the first season of The Golden Bachelor.
Yes.
You made it all the way to the end. Mm-hmm. You were in the final two.
Yes.
And there was a wild heartbreak I feel like no one saw coming at the very end. It was devastating, I'm sure. It was devastating to watch. I'm sure it was devastating to experience.
Yes.
But you have a lot of people rooting for you, for your happiness, and for you to find love. I want to jump into relationships, dating, Golden Bachelor, and also just like your life story, because obviously Live, Laugh, Lies. We got to get into the nitty-gritty of some of the fun and not so fun things that have happened.
Yeah. And I have that.
It's always such a treat when two Bachelor Nation baddies get together. For those not up to speed, Leslie graced our screens back in 2023 when she was on the very first season of The Golden Bachelor. She may not have stolen Gary's heart, but she certainly stole America's. Now, nearly 2 years later, Leslie is here to share her story like never before.
What was your life like prior to going on reality TV?
I had a great life. I am very active. I'm an instructor. I teach dance. I teach kids dance. I worked at the Fillmore music venue, and I love live music, so that was a great job for me, little part-time job. And I have 3 grandkids, and my heart is with them.
Your grandkids? Wait, how old are they?
So Jackson is 11. Sophia's going to be 7.
Okay.
So they are the ones that we snowboard together.
I was gonna say, oh my God, you have to be the coolest grandma. Like, you don't even look old enough to be a grandma, but you have to be the coolest. Like, teaching your grandkids to snowboard is awesome.
Yeah, we have a good time. And my son, their dad, is a great snowboarder. So we do that as a family. Oh. And then Yossi, my little one, he's 3, but, we swim all the time in the summer. He's just an angel, and I love being with them.
Before we started recording, something you mentioned to me was a dynamic with your dad. And I would love for you to share that story for our listeners,
Sure.
Just to kind of get some insight into who you are and kind of what has shaped you.
Yeah, I'd love to, Susie. So, like, on the show, I shared with Gary a little bit, because he was meeting my brother, Stuart. Mm-hmm. And my brother, Stuart, is been like my rock. I have 2 brothers. I love them both, but Stuart is kind of the patriarch of the family. And I was sharing to Gary why, because my dad had passed away when I was 16, but I didn't really want to share on the show why. Mm-hmm. I just didn't feel like it was the right time to do that. But I'm not opposed to talking about it. But my dad and my mom were divorced, and I was the youngest, so my other siblings were out of the house. And my dad and I were very close, and he picked me up one day to go get my driver's test, and I failed. And he dropped me off at school. I was in 10th grade. I was 16, and he goes, "I'll pick you up after school, and we'll practice." And back then, you could just go and take it the next day. It's not quite as easy now, but and then you'll take it tomorrow. It's not a big deal. I said, okay. And so then after school, I was outside waiting for him, and there's no cell phones back then. And I was waiting for him, and he didn't show up. And then my brother comes in. My cousin is driving the car. My brother's in the passenger seat. And so I was 16. My brother was like 21 or something like that. And he goes, "Leslie, get in the car." I said, "I'm waiting for Dad. What are you doing here? I'm 16. I'm annoyed with my brother. Why is he even here picking me up at school?"
Right.
And he goes, "You have to get in the car right now." And so I get in the back seat. I said, "Stuart, why? I'm waiting for Dad. Why? What's going on?" And he turned around and he said, "I'm your dad now." So my dad went home and he died of suicide.
Oh my gosh.
So I was the last one to see him, and he left me at school. And my brother Stuart has been my dad literally from at 21 or 22. He has done everything a father could.
Wow.
And still does.
Oh, that makes me want to cry.
Yeah, I know.
That's really sweet.
It is. It is. It's such a sad experience that I went through. But on the other hand, I had this incredible brother.
Yeah.
And so.
Oh, God.
Good way to start.
I know, it's a lot, but that's so beautiful that you have that relationship with him.
And
that's
he, I always joke, it's like he followed me on dates, walked me down the aisle twice. I mean, he did everything a father would do for their daughter.
Yeah.
Was there with every birth of my child, and, and he's there for my children.
Wow.
He really is. I mean, my children call him for advice.
And do you guys live in the same city?
Yeah,
Amazing.
we live in Minneapolis, yes. So, Stuart is it. He is the patriarch of our family.
Wow.
So, I wanted to tell Gary why he was meeting my brother. Teresa and Faith, I think they just met like their own sibling. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. I just was like, I want my kids there and my grandkids, but I also want my brother.
Yeah.
And also, I think when you lose a father like that, I was the last person to see him. He lied to me. He said he was coming back, and he didn't. I was angry with him for doing that to me. And for a very long time, I lied about how he died because I was embarrassed. I was 16. Obviously, the people at school knew, but then I was a figure skater. And so 2 years later, I left to go into a professional figure skating show called the Ice Follies. It's Disney on Ice now, but it was the Ice Follies. And I got to reinvent myself because nobody knew me. And when people said, ask about your parents, I'm like, oh, my dad died of a heart attack. Because I was like, I'm reinventing myself. And I'm not a liar, but I was just angry and felt like I had this like check mark, black check mark on me.
Yeah. And also people ask and pry, and you have to re-explain 1,000 times, and I think that's your prerogative, like especially as a young person, like to go through something so traumatic, like process it and deal with it however is best for you.
My family lied to me actually about how he died. I mean, as far as suicide goes.
Yeah.
And I found out years later that he actually died of suicide this way, not that way. And so it was like I had to relive it.
Right.
They were trying to protect me and make it not so bad. And now, being older, I'm not afraid to talk about it, obviously, because we should be talking about it. I mean, it's definitely something that, you shouldn't be ashamed of. I mean, we need to talk about it. We need to reach out to people, because my dad would say things to us, like, I should just kill myself. And we never took it, we thought he was just talking. We didn't take it seriously.
Wow.
And so I do, it's not like I'm an advocate here and I'm making speeches around the country about suicide, but I feel like it's important to talk about it now.
Absolutely. And I think you are an advocate, even just talking about it here. Like, you don't have to be giving speeches or anything, but just like having the conversation and being open about it, that goes such a long way for people to hear it, to recognize it in their own life and their family and friends. So that's amazing. I don't know if this happens to everybody, but there was like a day in my 30s where I woke up and I had this thought. I was like, oh, I must have like slept on my face weird, or like, oh my gosh, like something is going on, and I look different. And then I just kept waking up that way. And I realized, I was like, this is just my life now. Like, this is just my 30s. This is aging. I think that's what this is called. And let me be very real. I have embraced it. I think that feeling confident in your skin can also come with expert care, which is why I'm so grateful that Apostrophe is sponsoring today's podcast. I used Apostrophe to address some dark spots on my skin. So that's something when I went online and did my first appointment with their dermatology team, I expressed to them that is something I want to address along with fine lines. That's what's so beautiful about Apostrophe, is that you are set up with a professional dermatology team online, no in-person appointments. It's all done virtually and you don't have to go to a pharmacy. Everything is shipped directly to you, and they will set you up with a curated skincare routine to address all the things that you are looking to accomplish with your skin goals. Through Apostrophe, you can get access to oral and topical medications that are clinically proven ingredients to help clear acne. Simply fill out an online consultation about your skin goals and medical history, then snap a few selfies, and a dermatology provider will create a customized treatment plan just for you. We have a special deal for our audience. Get your visit for only $5 at apostrophe.com/livelaughlies when you use our code livelaughlies. That's a savings of $15. This code is only available to our listeners. So to get started, go to apostrophe.com/livelaughlies and click get started. Then use our code livelaughlies at sign up and you'll get your first visit for only $5. You kind of mentioned the lying aspect, I'm sure really affected you. Not only that he lied to you, but your family lied to you to protect you, and it ended up causing a lot of pain.
Yeah.
How did it affect your dating in your younger years? Have you reflected if it affected you in some way?
Yes, I think it really affected me because I did have those abandonment issues, and I went through lots of therapy.
Yeah.
Right away, my mom was like, yeah, we're all going to need therapy now. I mean, and my brothers as well. I mean, my brother found him.
Wow.
So it was a lot on our family. And I have to say, when I think back, we are such a close family, and as siblings go, we love each other so, so much. I have an older sister and two brothers, and we're very, very close. And so it didn't tear us apart, it really made us. And then our mom died, I was only 26, so really not much time
10
after.
years after, yeah.
So I was an orphan, except I had my
Amazing
siblings and then my
siblings.
brother. He really took care of me. But I think that of course I have abandonment issues. Of course I, have the fear of somebody leaving me. And I think that has carried out in some of my relationships. Well, I'm going to break up first because then I don't have to be hurt again, and I don't have to be left again. Or, maybe I manifest the relationship to go one way as opposed to another. I don't know. I mean, I feel like right now in my life, I am at the time of my life where I could have probably the healthiest relationship if it comes along that I could ever have, because I feel that I've really,
worked through a lot of
worked
this stuff.
through it. And to be honest, the show has helped me a little bit too with that.
I feel like a lot of people have abandonment issues and avoidant tendencies and all these things, and they don't experience something so traumatic. So I think it's probably hearing that, I'm like, yeah, you're like, yeah, of course I do. I'm like, yeah, well, so many people have not even been through what you've been through and struggle with those same things. So I think you're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
You've been married twice, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, you've been married twice. I would love to know about those two relationships.
So I was married first to Brad, and I'm very friendly with both my ex-husbands. I mean, especially probably more Brad, because we knew each other when we were teenagers, and we have a great relationship. It's all good.
Yeah.
And he has two other children, and actually they both do. So my kids have a lot of siblings, to be honest. So I was married to Brad very young, 21.
Okay.
And we were married 7 years, and then we had a little traumatic experience. I was pregnant, and at 4 months I miscarried.
Oh my gosh.
And I was pregnant with my sister-in-law, so my brother Stuart and his wife. We were going to have kids literally within a week of each other.
Oh my gosh.
And my mom was so excited to be a grandmother, but then I had a miscarriage, and then my mom passed away a month later of an aneurysm.
Wow.
So it was really a hard.
Heavy time.
Yeah, and at 4 months, you are already picking names, and
Oh my gosh,
yeah. So that was a little difficult. But then we got pregnant again, and we had Zach, and Zach is my oldest. He's 37. I feel like we grew up together a little bit because I had him when I was 27.
Yeah.
And he's my best friend and everything. So. And Brad and I are really, we've celebrated holidays together and,
nice.
Birthdays, whatever, And then he has 2 kids from his wife. And then I got married to David. I actually met him here in L.A. I was choreographing an exercise video for Mary Hart, who used to be on Entertainment Tonight.
Oh my gosh.
Through Avon, they hired me. And he had a restaurant on La Cienega, and I had won an aerobic competition. And the Schwartzes, my friends who ran the competition, were also friends with David. So they took me to his restaurant, and he came to our table, and I was like, what? He's like French, Moroccan, Jewish.
Wow.
I had the accent. He was gorgeous.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
gosh. Yeah, sounds like a dream.
yeah, it was. He was, yeah. And yeah, I lived here with him for a little bit, and we had our daughter out here, and then we moved. Actually got caught in the Rodney King riots.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so we moved back to Minneapolis and had another child, Eli, and so.
Oh my gosh. Okay, and are you comfortable talking about why your relationship ended with him?
I'm comfortable as far as, again, they are the father of my children, the grandfather of my grandchildren,
Yes.
so I want to be respectful, but there's lots of infidelities in our marriage, and he's
multiple times.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Did you find out about all of them at once, or did you find out over the course?
I think I'm very resourceful.
Yeah.
So I found out about them as they were going.
Wow.
But I loved him, and we had 2 children. I mean, at one point it was just Chloe and then Eli. But I really wanted to make my marriage work.
Yeah.
But then there comes a time where you can't really make a marriage work when there's somebody else involved.
Absolutely.
Did
you have any suspicions, like, leading up to the first time you found out about the first infidelity? Were there, like, signs? Were there things that you were picking up on?
I was pregnant with Chloe, so, there were probably signs.
Okay.
Yeah. And, I'm not stupid. Women aren't stupid.
No, we've got that intuition.
Yeah. And some signs were more blatant than others.
We've all been there.
Yeah. So, but, sometimes you think you can change people, or they're going to change, as pregnant. Well, they're going to change once I have a baby, and then they're going to, So I did the best I could, as far as going along to get along kind of thing, and being in love with them. I really was. I wanted to make it work. But there were some lies, and I am not good with people that lie.
Me
I'm
either.
just not.
It's I will cut someone out of my life so fast. I've had to work on it.
Yeah.
Because I understand sometimes people lie.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to, not that we should tolerate lying at
Yeah.
all, but I have become such a, stickler about lying. I will not, I won't tolerate it.
Me either.
Yeah.
And I won't tolerate with my children. And when they lie to me, that is the worst thing. And it's they're like, I don't know why I lie. I know you always know when I'm lying. I'm ever since they were young, you know. And being, whatever, putting water in my gin when they drank my gin. I mean, are you?
You're like, I think I know.
You don't think I'm gonna find out when I pour myself a martini? I mean, put the olives in and it's water.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just funny because
It's so funny.
I'm like, you have to work on it. I'm not saying they got these genes from their dad, but I'm like the opposite. And so I do work on it with them, but I'm like you. I can't stand the lying. And then obviously there was a point in my life where, all right, I'm done, because I don't want to be lied to anymore.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel good, and you know.
Absolutely. I'm curious because to me it sounds like you've been through a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to men.
Yeah.
But I really struggle to function when I'm like not doing well, and not even like not doing well romantically in the sense of like, oh, like dating's hard or whatever. But if I'm in a relationship and it's like heavy, there's lying, there's cheating, and even if I'm like walking away from it, I have a hard time getting out of bed. I have a hard time like taking care of myself. You seem to be the type of person that just is living this beautiful life. Like, you dance, you are energetic, you have this like very lively energy. You obviously are like, you take care of yourself, you're so beautiful, like you seem like you have everything together. Like, what is it that helps you get through all this stuff?
You know what, Susie? My friends even say to me, if I went through what you went through, I'd be an alcoholic, a drug addict. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I'd look like crap. I would gain 50 pounds. I don't know,
Right.
but I have been through a lot, and I've never once stayed in bed.
Yeah.
I mean, where I can't move. Like, I did when I got back from the show. I took 2 days. I really
Yeah.
was.
I mean, 2 days, that's nothing.
I know. I'm like, well, I have to work.
Yeah.
I don't have the luxury of not working. So I had to work. Just took a month off, and I have a life, you know.
Yeah.
Whether it's even my dog, I got to take my dog for walks. I have to get out, and for me, just putting one foot in front of the other helps me. Like,
Yeah.
my exercise has always been my drug and my family. You know, I needed to be with my family, and I needed to work out. And yeah, I mean, I do have a knack for keeping it going, I have to say. I mean, I don't pat myself on the back a lot, but I have to say, for the things that I've been through in my life,
Yeah.
I have kept going.
I agree. It's really amazing. I feel like I have to wonder if like the dance is a part of it, because
Yeah.
I feel like that's such a joyous thing
Yeah.
in life. Like when I go out and I dance, even just for fun, or
Yeah.
if I even do like a Zumba class or something
Yeah.
like randomly, because I don't do it regularly, but if I do Zumba here and there, I'm like, it's such a joyous thing.
Yeah.
I wonder if that is just like a huge part of why you.
Yeah, I think so. Like, the minute the music is on, for me, I completely forget about everything else. Like, my cousin we did a retreat together once, and she's a chef, and you know, she was watching me dance. She goes, "You remind me of Snoopy." Like, when Snoopy, you know, like when you're dancing, and I do feel like that. I feel like Snoopy. I feel like I'm just so happy.
Yeah.
The minute, and plus I have, you know, I was a showgirl. It's like showtime, you know.
Yeah.
And so no matter what you're going through, you got to put a smile on your face. You got to like do that. So I'd had that training as well.
You know the phrase like fake it till you make it?
Yeah.
I believe
I love that phrase.
And I like the phrase fake it till you feel it. Like, they say if you like physically smile, it actually like sends the signals to your brain to be like, oh, you're happy, even
Yeah.
if you're feeling sad. So sometimes if I literally have tears, I'll like smile and I'm like, oh, I look crazy right
Yeah.
now, but I know this is sending the signal to my brain to be happy, so I'll be okay eventually.
Yes, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, listen, I have my days, but I count my blessings. It always can be worse. And
Absolutely.
yeah.
And you've got great relationships with both of your exes. How did you get to that point with them? Was it that once you were finally not, you know, basing your emotional well-being and your relationship, you know, expectations on them, that you were able to be like, okay, like, you're not my husband?
Yeah.
Is that what led you to have a good relationship with them?
I think so. I mean, I have respect for them because, you know, I can say my kids love me, and all three of them would say that I'm their best friend. But they do love their fathers, and they respect them, and I respect them. They have always been there for them, whether it's, you know, in the middle of the night or money or this or that. I mean, or advice, you know. Brad and David have always been there for my children, their children. And so I respect them. They're really good grandfathers. And I just, you know, sometimes you have to like put your anger aside and go, you know what, it wasn't meant to be. And we created these people,
Yeah.
and these children deserve better.
Beautiful.
You know?
I love that. Well, it speaks a lot to who you are as well, because I think that's really hard in general for people to stay, friendly with their exes, but for you to come on here and in general to say, like, I have respect for them and they're amazing fathers, like, that says a lot about who you are and the kind of mom you are too.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so just before going on the Golden Bachelor, what was dating life like? Were you on the apps? Were you meeting people at Trader Joe's? Like, what did it look like?
I mean, I live in Minneapolis. I've lived there
Okay.
my whole life, and I always call it a big small town or small big town. I know a lot of people because I've taught a lot of classes. I've taught thousands of people in my classes, and my classes were huge at one. So I just know a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I'm Jewish, and the Jewish community is even smaller. So if I want to date someone that's Jewish, it's like an ex-husband of someone I know.
Someone else you know,
You
yeah.
know, like.
Oh, gosh.
And it's not about dating someone Jewish. I've never had to, it's just about, if I just know a lot of people there. And so
She's a well-connected woman.
yeah, I mean, my family is kind of a little bit well known. My cousin Bobby was Prince's drummer.
Oh my gosh. Wait, hold on. That just triggered a memory for me because I heard a rumor that you dated Prince.
Yeah.
Wait, I need to know everything. Tell me everything.
As I was saying this, I'm like, she forgot.
I
That's
forgot
good.
about that. But you just reminded me.
But I was saying that, my family in the music business and most of my cousins live out here and they're all in the entertainment business. My brother Stuart married into a huge music family, the Peterson family. So we just know a lot of people, and dating life, getting back to the dating life first. Yeah. It just was really non-existent. I was on some apps, but I felt this is how I feel. Like, why would I want to waste my time even going for a drink or coffee with someone when I can be with my dog or my grandkids or my friends, my time.
It's work.
Yeah, it's so much work, and my time is really important to me.
Yeah.
And I just kind of lost hope.
Yeah. I get that. Wow. Okay, can we sidebar to Prince just for a second? I just need to know. Okay,
we knew it was going to happen.
It has to. So your brother worked for him, with him?
So my cousin was his drummer.
Oh, your cousin, okay.
And in the Revolution, but my cousin Bobby Z, he knew Prince before they even were a band.
Okay.
So he was friends with them. He took him to get his driver's test. I mean,
oh my
yeah.
gosh.
So, and then he introduced me to Prince when we were 17.
Okay.
Actually, my brother Robbie was his personal valet for 12 years. My sister did his makeup. So it's very.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, everyone in Minneapolis has a Prince story. Everybody.
I love that.
But
not everyone can say they dated him.
So we did date. We were young. I mean, we were very young. He came to watch me at a fashion show. I was dancing, in the fashion show. And he said, "You're such a good dancer. You're a sexy dancer." And he wrote that song, "Sexy Dancer," about me. And people can dispute it, but it is true.
Oh my gosh. Wait, I love that. That's amazing. That would be in my Instagram bio if I were you. I would literally have that in there. Sexy dancers about me.
But of course I said that on the show and people were like, "Oh, no, he didn't." And yeah, he did, but it's fine.
Wow.
I don't need to prove it.
Right, you know it.
I mean, my cousin Bobby can come out and say he did, but why? I'm not going to make him do that.
Right.
It doesn't matter. I know, we know.
Yeah.
And and then I went into the Ice Follies and he would write me these amazingly erotic letters.
Oh.
Yeah, and have artwork on them and stuff. Don't ask me where those are because that's another story.
Do you have them still?
No, it's a whole nother story.
No. Oh, no.
But maybe it's for the second time I'm on the podcast.
Yes, we'll have to have you back to tell about the Prince Chronicles.
Anyways, so he actually, when we were skating at the Forum, he'd come in his limo and pull up and I'd get in the car and all my friends, you know, in the show, I'll be like, oh my God. And he was just starting his career then.
Gotcha.
But like I get these letters, and all my friends in the Ice Follies would come. We'd get our drinks, and we were smoking back then. You know,
Oh my
we
God.
sit around in the hotel room, and I'd read the letters. And they're like, I mean,
I love it.
my friend who Gwen, who I still am very close to from the Ice Follies, she goes, God, I remember those days. It's amazing. So
wow, how wild.
Yeah.
Okay, you've had some experiences, honestly. I love that.
Just when I thought Leslie couldn't be any more iconic, she drops the Prince bomb on us. To not only date one of the most famous musicians of our lifetime, but to also have him write a song about you is something out of a movie. BRB going to jam out to Sexy Dancer right now.
I've lived a life.
You've lived a life. It's
Yeah.
no surprise you found yourself on the Golden Bachelor.
Yeah.
How cool. Were you thrilled when you found out that they were doing a Golden Bachelor season?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like so funny. I have told the story before, but it is funny. My daughter and I were watching the show like we always have,
Yeah.
you know, from day one. And it was before COVID, and we're sitting on the couch, and she turned to me, she goes, Mom, you'd be so good on the show. I'm like, there are 25, Chloe. She goes, I know, but they should do one for older people. And I said, no one wants to see old people kissing in a hot tub, because literally I think there was
That scene was happening probably.
it was always
yeah.
it's always a hot tub. And then fast forward, I'm with Gary sitting in a hot tub kissing. Like many years, like say 5 years later. So
And spoiler, I was watching and loving it. So I'm here for it. The
it was
people
just
did
funny.
want it.
Thank you. Yeah. So it was just funny how my daughter had the insight of that show.
What would you describe your overall experience being? I know you had the heartbreak at the end,
Yeah.
but before that, what was the experience like?
The experience was amazing. I loved it. I really did. I made really good friends. I'm still close to, and I love the family that it created for me.
Yeah.
I guess it's Bachelor Nation family, but I do love that. I got to meet you and, you know, Trista and all these people that I have admired and
Yeah.
seen myself, you know. So all of that, I had a very good experience.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is. It's such a wonderful experience. I know some people go on and have a horrible experience, and they
Yeah.
hate sharing living space, and they don't get along with people, and it's like very tumultuous. And
Yeah.
I totally get that, because I saw people that had that experience, but I was living my best life.
Yeah,
I
me
had
too.
so much fun.
Me too.
And yeah, the takeaways, and even the people that were not from my season, it's like you immediately have something in
I
common with
know.
them, and it's
that
like
no one else is going to understand.
exactly. Like even when we decided to put this together, I was like, I am so freaking excited to just to meet you, because to me you feel like a celebrity. I'm like, I watched you, and I know I was on the same
Well,
show.
I feel the same way about you.
But I'm like, you're a celebrity. Like I watched you. I'm a fan. You know, like it's just funny because we know what it's like to have that experience, but also like. Yeah, you can just instantly click with people because of our experience.
It's true.
And it's beautiful. And I have met some of the most amazing people
too.
through it. And the producers as well. They're some really great people.
Yes. Are you tired? Yes. Are you
Yeah.
like all of that? It is hard sharing a little space and a little bathroom and stuff. But I'm a little low maintenance girl,
Yeah.
so I kind of didn't care.
Me too. I thrived.
They were like, okay, you guys have to be ready in 2 hours. And then they'd look at me, all right, Leslie, we'll give you 30-minute warning.
Yeah.
Because then I'd be swimming in the pool, because they know that I'm like, this is how I come.
Yes.
You know.
When I showed up in my hometown, my best girlfriend was there, and she goes, oh, you decided just to not wear makeup today? And I was like, I was wearing makeup. I guess it just didn't look good. And they all had, my sister, my best friend, they went and got their makeup done and stuff like that, which is so, I love it for them.
Yeah.
But it was so funny. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I didn't even realize. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe I should be like doing my makeup more. But
Well, that's what when I look back, and you know, HGTV is not very kind
it's
to
the
older
worst.
skin. Older
you look
skin.
beautiful.
My friend Nancy turned to me. She goes, Leslie, you have more wrinkles on TV than you do in person.
That's probably true, though. It's the
But
worst.
it's true, because I said, Nancy, do I look like that? She goes, no. It's so weird.
It's the worst.
Like, how does that happen?
I
But,
know.
Yeah,
I feel you. It's hard to watch back.
it is.
Yeah.
It is hard.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about this before starting. I wanted to know, like, you kind of mentioned maybe Gary wasn't your typical type.
Yeah.
But you did find yourself falling in love with him. Can you talk to that a little bit?
Sure. So my typical type would probably be more like a bad boy, and
Okay,
you
I
know,
see the leather jacket.
yeah.
Look at her.
I mean, just kind of, and that's where I get myself in trouble. I mean, I'm not saying my ex-husband David was a bad boy, but he was a little bit, and I was immediately attracted to him. Like within 2 seconds of him walking up to the table, because I went to
course.
his restaurant in LA, and I was like, oh my God.
There's a lure. We can't help it.
Yeah.
There's a lure. I don't know what it is.
I can't. So the last words of my daughter when I left for the airport on July 30th was, be open-minded, because she thinks I'm too picky and I'm closed off. And she goes, be open-minded. Just feel it, Mom. Just be open-minded. And I went, okay. So I was, and we had kind of talked about this before we went live, but I am I love humor. When someone makes me laugh or I make them laugh, that to me is a turn on. And that happened with Gary and I right away. Like, he made me laugh. He actually got my humor. He thought I was hysterical. I thought he was funny. So, and of course, you do spend a little bit more time together than what they show. Especially in our show, it was only an hour.
Oh my gosh, it gets trimmed down like
Yeah.
crazy.
There was a lot more conversations that people didn't, they didn't
course.
show. People didn't see. So, he was different for me, and I found myself being very attracted to that and being open-minded like Chloe told me to be. So I was feeling it. And I've said this before, if I didn't feel it, I would have maybe self-eliminated, because I wouldn't have wanted to take a spot or a chance for some other woman,
Yeah.
And I did feel it. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like everyone was blindsided to an extent. I mean, I say blindsided, but I also saw a strong connection with Teresa and him for sure. Like, we all saw that as well.
For sure.
So I wanted to ask about overnights. Again, whatever you're comfortable talking about. Yeah. We, as the viewer, got we all thought it was you. Yeah. And I know the show can edit it to look like that, but it seems like you also thought it was you.
I did. I think the show edited our morning after the overnight not good. Because everyone's like, oh, there was a disconnect there. I'm like, no, we didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, he turned around and blew me 3 kisses when he left. And we had a really, obviously that date, down the waterfall. I should have been on the other side. And I think he realized it when we got down, and he felt really bad. And, he was very caring, and he had my back. And Susie, I really haven't felt like anyone's had my back like that for a long time. So that was another trait of his that I really liked. I loved. I was very, I felt like he had integrity, and he was caring. He's caring to me, and I felt cared for.
Yeah.
So, that day was, even though it was scary for me, it was still fun, and our conversation was great, and our overnight was really nice. We talked all night long. I mean, we, talked about things, and I literally woke up going, it's me.
Yeah. Like, that was the impression he left on you.
Yeah.
Was that it was you.
And, again, you know how it is. You don't know the other conversations.
Of course.
And you don't know even the other conversations the girls are having with them that you really don't know. So you're kind of in a bubble and you don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know what his date with Teresa was going to be like.
Do you feel like he was persuaded by possibly production or something? Or do you think it was if the dates had been reversed order, if she went first and you were second, you think that could have changed?
Well, see, my date was first, and then I didn't see him for 2 days.
Yeah.
So, and then Teresa had more time with him in a row.
Right.
Okay. We each have the same time, but
the
hers
momentum
was more
because it was back
condensed.
to back.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then meeting his family as well. And then it's meeting his family was great, but he was definitely disconnected after that.
And you felt the energy shift.
Yeah.
After the family visit.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I hadn't seen him for 2 days until then.
Okay.
And I thought the family, visit went great. I adored his grandkids. His granddaughters were amazing. And his sisters, we all had fun and laughed. And, again, obviously some things are edited out only because, time and whatever. But
Wow.
yeah.
Do you feel like you were portrayed accurately for the most part?
That's a tough question because the comments that I got after the show,
Yeah.
people were saying I'm broken, I'm a mess, I'm not ready for a relationship, I need therapy, and I'm
my
really
gosh.
that's
Hold on, that's effed up.
yeah.
Why? Because you
I
were
got bullied.
vulnerable?
Yeah, and I cried and I said something like, "You didn't choose me," and it's funny because young people can keep saying you didn't choose me, but if I said it,
Right. Wait,
got
that's actually so messed up.
it is.
Well, this is going to be airing a little bit later, but I just saw Chalk from this
Yeah.
season of Golden. I think it was his daughter. People are giving him a hard time right now online because they're saying he's like stealing attention from her and all this stuff. The daughter came out and posted TikTok and was like, "It's my dad's first time living. Like, what, you think he's like a reality TV expert that he should have like shared more? Like, come on. Like, why are you guys dragging my dad and calling him a creep when he's literally just a man interested in a woman?"
Exactly.
I was like, period, go off, girl, because people are so horrible
They're
online.
horrible. They're
horrible.
and women are horrible to other women. Why are you bullying a grandmother?
Literally.
Like, do you not understand? It is edited. I mean, only because, again, of a time thing.
Yeah.
And B, it's a complete, like, I was living authentic. I was authentic. I was my authentic self. But you don't know me. You're only seeing one version. I've seen a few kids come out and say that about their dads or whatever from the show. And I wish, because my son wanted to do that, but I'm like, I don't know if you should,
I was the same way. It's hard.
Yeah.
And you don't want people to come for your family, your friends, and you're like, don't worry about it.
And I just didn't want to get them bullied as well. Like, but people were telling me I'm broken, I'm this, I'm that. And my friends were laughing. And sometimes, they get on Facebook and they start sticking up for me. I'm like, forget it. Because they're like, you are literally the strongest person we know.
Yeah. What's crazy is that it's always the voices like that are the loudest. The people that are likely in a committed relationship, a married relationship, and they're probably so unhappy.
Yeah.
They're probably living a miserable marriage,
Yeah.
and they don't, and this is going to sound mean, but don't have the courage to walk away or something.
Exactly.
And they're going to sit there and bully you and say negative things about you when in reality, so many people relate to what you said and relate and feel seen and validated just by you sharing your experience and feeling hurt that for, another time you felt betrayed and lied to, and like somebody wasn't fully honest with you.
Right.
You're just speaking the same way that anyone else would that was in that exact position.
I got, she's been divorced twice. She doesn't know how to keep a relationship going. I got a lot of that.
That's actually awful. Well, I hope they listen to this and hear like the shit you've been through. Excuse my language, but I just got fired up. I'm like, it's so awful when people are. And what's crazy is I watch the Golden series now, and I think it's just so beautiful. It like gives people hope.
It shouldn't be a bad word. I mean, yes, we didn't lose a spouse, but we lost a spouse in a different way. I mean, a loss is a loss. I'm not saying it's any better or worse, but obviously it's terrible to have a spouse die. My heart breaks for my friends that have been widowed, but I had a loss too.
Yeah.
I didn't get married to be divorced. I wanted nothing more than to be married, be a wife, be a mother, have a happy life. It's all I've ever wanted in my whole life.
Right. You have to mourn that part, that loss essentially.
Yeah. And then when your husband leaves you and starts a whole new family with someone else and lives down the block from you, I mean, you don't think that's hard?
And it breaks my heart because I watch the show, feel like hopeful and positive, and I want to root for everyone that I'm watching on the show.
Yeah.
And so to see people online like just tearing them down, I'm like, wow, that's so crazy. Imagine if that was your mom or your dad,
I know,
your favorite uncle or aunt,
I know.
And seeing the way the internet can rip into people.
My kids were sad about it.
Yeah.
They were so upset for me.
Oh gosh, that makes me so. I'm sorry, I got revved up about that. I'm like, oh, these people are the worst.
And I can imagine how younger people feel bullied if we feel so bad.
I know.
And it's a terrible thing. The internet can be really bad.
When I watch the show, watching my age group, and I'm kind of on the older end too. And I see like 25-year-olds, 22-year-olds, and they get their heart broken. I'm like, oh, that sucks. But I'm like, but they'll be fine. You know, I'm like, it's all good. Like,
there's another bus around the corner.
Yeah, like they got 10 more years to like figure this out before if they want to have kids.
There's somebody in Bachelornation that's waiting for them to be.
I'm like, they'll be at the beach next year. It's fine. You know, like I feel, it sounds bad, but I'm like, I almost like don't feel sympathy for them because I'm like, I just know that like their world's about to explode and it's like, you're fine, you know? But when I watch The Golden and I see, once we hear the heartbreak stories, when we learn more about you guys and like what you've been through, like I just want so bad for you guys to find love that I'm like hoping and praying that I was saying it earlier, I'm like, please give us a golden paradise. I don't know, like, have you heard any rumblings of it? Like, is that something that you think is going to happen?
I mean, of course, I've heard rumblings and I've heard, you know, different things. And I know that people want it. I have seen that. But, you know, like anything with this franchise, you just don't know.
Right.
You know. And so I don't know. It would, I mean, the guys on Joan's season were amazing.
Yeah.
And I definitely think that it would be fun to meet some of those guys. And
have any slid into your DMs? You don't have to name names.
Well, I might have slid into theirs. I'm just kidding. I mean, no, I'm just like, you know, sometimes when you're older, you just go, screw it.
Yeah.
I mean,
shoot your shot.
What do I got to lose? You know? No, I don't know. I mean,
I'm the same. I'd be shooting my shot all the time in the DMs.
I know.
Just, you know.
Why not?
Why not?
I think it'd be fun to meet them. There's one or two that I would definitely want to meet.
Love that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm already going to be like thinking it through in my head. I'm like, who can we put her with? I have so many great
I say
ideas.
one. More than two.
I love it. I feel like I have
I mean, you know, sometimes I got to
intuition.
set my goal. And
Yeah.
just
I love that. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that the Golden Bachelor experience shaped you in a way, and like how has your life and your aura and everything changed post show?
You know, I feel, to be honest, I feel like I have more patience. I don't know why. I think when people come up to you and recognize you and want to talk to you, and even though you're not like at the airport yesterday, I literally came from a class. I was exhausted. I'm just waiting to get on the flight, and you know, someone's like, "Hi," you know, and I'm just nice to everybody, and it's not like I'm forcing it. I appreciate that, you know. I appreciate the fact that they had the guts to come up to me and they watched the show and they like me or they like the show. Who are you friends with? They always want to know who's my best friends on the show, and I have patience. Like my friends, they're like, how do you have the patience for this? When they go out with me, it's like constant. Like, you know, it ebbs and flows. Sometimes it's, you know, we'll say I'm at a concert. It happens a lot.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, I just feel like I have more patience. I feel like I know exactly what I want in somebody now, where before I was maybe a little too picky. I'm still picky and I'm not going to settle, but I'm more open. For different things, you know, I don't have to have somebody that snowboards with me, you know, but I want the core of their values to be aligned with mine, the moral compass, you know, things like that.
What's next for you?
Well, I do fitness retreats. I've been going to Costa Rica for the last like 6 years.
Oh my gosh, I want to come.
Oh yeah, that's so much fun.
Oh my God, that sounds so fun.
Yeah.
Costa Rica fitness retreat?
Yeah, in Tamarindo.
Okay, send me the info.
I will.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's so much fun. And if you want to surf, you horseback ride, zip lining, it's everything. It's so much fun.
Oh my gosh.
And then I teach like I call my class Urban Pop. So I teach my Urban Pop class every morning. And then so I do 45 minutes of that and then 45 minutes of like a bar-esque type class.
Nice.
And then I do water class in the afternoon. And it's just amazing. And it's so amazing to see the connections that people have with each other. Like they don't know anyone and then they leave with best friends, and that makes me so happy. I love that.
That's the best.
Yeah, so that is definitely something I'm looking forward to, and I guess I'm just, you know, whatever life throws at me. I'm still working. I teach classes in Minneapolis. I'm a personal trainer. I do a lot of events. I do mother-son dances for their weddings and daughter-father dances, whatever. I choreograph things like that. So, yeah, I'm
I love
busy.
that. Okay, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to put this in the universe. You on Dancing with the Stars next season. I think get this woman on the next Bachelor Pad or Golden Paradise, whatever they're going to do, and then get her on Dancing with the Stars because I think you would be fabulous.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think I'd be good too. And I think Dancing with the Stars needs an older winner.
Someone that, and I don't mean this in a mean way, but I'm like someone that can win.
Yeah.
We do. We root for the
Yeah.
older people, but there is like generally mobility
Yeah.
restrictions,
Yes.
and you would kill it.
I mean, I know it's a lot of work, and I also think, it'd be really nice to represent the older population on that
Yes.
show and win or come close to it, which I have a very, very strong work ethic, and I think I could do it, but yeah.
I think you would kill it.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, can we play a little red flag, green flag?
Of course.
Okay. Always pays for everything. The guy, he always pays for everything.
Oh, green flag.
Green flag, I'm cool with it.
Okay.
He doesn't have social media.
He doesn't have social media? Red flag.
Red flag, okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't respond to texts for several hours.
Red flag.
Red flag. Talks poorly behind other people's back.
Oh, red flag.
Red flag. Says I love you after 1 month of dating.
Says he loves me?
Mm-hmm.
Gosh. Could it be an orange flag?
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, a little, or maybe a beige flag. I'm like, it could go either way.
Yeah, I think 1 month is too fast, but I'd be cool with it if I was in love with him.
Right. I feel that.
Yeah.
Someone who hides their phone screen from you.
Oh, red flag.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Yeah. I've been there, done that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about friends? They have friends of the opposite sex.
That's a green flag for me
Green flag,
because I
okay.
have a lot of guy friends.
It's like they know how to communicate with other
Yep.
people. Has lots of hobbies that don't include you.
I think that's okay because I have hobbies that probably wouldn't include
Yeah.
them. I mean, is he going to go to Broadway with me? I don't know.
Yeah.
But, but there's also a fine line. A lot, like, not too much.
Right.
Yeah.
There has to be some overlay.
But the thing is, I do a lot, and I'm open to a lot. So, I'd be open to learning new hobbies.
Before we wrap, I've got a segment called Live, Laugh, Lie, and it's just 3 questions. So your first question is, if you could live this part of your life over again, I'm guessing we can reference Golden Bachelor. Would you do anything different?
I feel like I would know if I was now, I would know different things not to do, not to say. But then I was living in the moment authentically.
Yeah.
And so, of course, you're thinking, oh, I wouldn't have said this, I wouldn't have said that. But I don't know. But not really live it differently, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you look back on and laugh at?
My kids make me laugh. And so
Yeah.
there's certain things they say to me. I'll have like certain moments of each of them saying funny things to me, and I sit there and I laugh all the time about it.
I love that.
Yeah.
And then what is the worst lie you've ever told?
That I've ever told? I think, to be honest, when I lied about how my dad died when I was in the Ice Valleys,
Yeah.
it's probably the worst. I mean, I felt bad about it, but because I don't lie,
Yeah.
so I try not to.
That's a good one. Well, you have been amazing. Thank you so much for
Oh,
coming on and
you.
joining us today. I know everyone's going to be dying to listen to this episode. So I really appreciate you taking the time to stop by while you're in LA.
Of course, I love being here.
Yay, thank you so much.
Of course, thank you.
This podcast has been brought to you by Podcast Nation.